Hello everyone, I am Tesslating Hexagons, and we're back with some more Touch Detective 2.5, actually a day earlier than it would normally be, because, there's been some weirdness happening with Dream Champ Tournament Versus, and I've had to push an episode of that back by a day, so I'm bringing this forward by a day to make up for it, because I can't just upload nothing. So, the clock that we chose for Cromwell, it's stopped. I think the other two, one of them's too fast, one of them's too slow, but he demanded an accurate clock, and we've used the old adage that, well, if it's stopped, then it's right twice a day. So, that's fair enough, and he can use that in combination with the bear thermometer to create a thing that we can use to wake up the dead guy, or whatever our original intention was, I don't know, today's been strange. He does take his sweet time constructing this thing, as you can hear in the background, but you didn't sincerely think we could go an entire Touch Detective game without something like this happening, did you? Because, granted, it happened a lot more in the first game, but whatever, going outside the room, and then hearing Cromwell making noises inside. Funny how we didn't hear that going off while he was constructing it, though, because you would have thought he would test the alarm before saying, oh, it's done, and here's the noise it makes. And I think that's a completely different clock face from the one that was on the thing that we gave him, but I neglected to check, so whatever. So there we go, there's our especially constructed alarm clock for the dead corpse, as opposed to the living corpse, question mark? That reminds me, at some point, I might splice it into this video, but if not, also I get the under the bench touch list item like I said I would. The other day, I did some really half-assed recolors of the Touch Detective characters so that they resembled characters from Steven Universe, and I might splice those in because I didn't have much inspiration, but I do think that Chloe and Penelope as Ruby and Sapphire, that just works so well. I mean, granted, Chloe and Penelope aren't, as far as I'm aware, lesbians for one another, but their personalities match up fairly well. Mackenzie's just laughing at that for some reason, but doesn't appear to be waking up. Well, that was a bust. That was kind of a boob joke. Damn it, Chloe, I hate it when you're right. But she's wrong, but she's right, but she's also wrong. So she's smart, but not. So what are we supposed to do then? Really? You want to, as it were, poke the puffball. So we're gonna have to... Apparently one of us is going to have to kiss this corpse on the face to wake his ass up. Did we establish that he's not a corpse? Because, they said, oh, he's sleeping, but we haven't confirmed that he isn't. I beg your pardon? You want me to sleep on the floor? What's going on here, Chloe? What's going through your head? Now getting Penelope to do it with her butt hair. Do you see what do you want here, Chloe? What are you getting at? Oh, now it makes sense. Second time this game uses a Princess and the Pea reference. Although, in the first instance, it had nothing to do with princesses, but then again, come to think of it, it kinda did, because the Detective Course Z, because Americans can't pronounce letters, that featured Mackenzie sleeping on top of a pea, which then fed to fungi, and then we had an extra side quest case, which was a rehash of the Detective Course not Z from the first game. So in a sense, it's kind of a reference, because Connor at the antique shop said that she was a princess, so it's longer convolution. Anyway, they're arguing so we can caress the corpse and add it to the touch list, because we're so perverted like that. Then again, there is actually a series of lines of dialogue that Chloe says that I didn't even know that it's firm that she says, but we'll come back to that later. I don't think it's now. But yeah, there's an entire cutscene that I didn't even know existed in this game, and I discovered it later in this recording session, and it was hilarious, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But yes, it's not a corpse, it's not sleeping, it's a ball-jointed doll. Chloe, don't hit him, or Chloe, don't hit his hitbox. He can feel that even though you're not touching him. But yeah, don't abuse the doll. So there we go, he's on the touch list now. So that begs another question. At what point does a doll stop being an it and start having gendered pronouns? Again, I suppose it depends on whether you're referring to the item as an object, or the person that the object embodies, and tried to get the fence on the touch list, but I may have just been completely mistaken about that now. We could try to use that wind-up key that we found, because it's a mechanized doll, but I think we should tell Cromwell first, just because, well, he's been involved in this case as well, so he might as well keep us... Well, we owe it to him to keep him abreast of the situation. But one thing that would be prudent to do is to actually show this wind-up key to Connor at the antique shop so that he can tell us a bit more about it, because, spoiler alert, if you try to use the key to wind up the doll at the moment, it's not going to work because, well, it's a very antiquated mechanism, as we're about to find out. It belongs to Lord Sprazzer the Third. You know what, I'm just going to call this episode that, Lord Sprazzer the Third. So yes, it's a special ratchet mechanism. It's sort of like a combination of modern slang and Baby Got Back, the ratchet back mechanism. Like, when most of your body is just completely normal, but just the area around your spine is just slutty and all kinds of tongue and twerk. That's a ratchet back mechanism. I am awful. Anyway, so we've established then that this corpse that we found is actually not only a doll, but a wind-up mechanical homunculus. And... curious. And he's about to tell us the exact details about it, so... ultimately, what we've discovered is it's a doll called Silver who can be wound up and sings, apparently. So... well, it's a better national final than Ireland's selection process for Eurovision, I'll say that much. And he kind of wants us to donate it to the shop. We'll consider it. I just realised that cushion in the third item on the left shelf looks like a pineapple without a head. A headless pineapple. Anyway, we now understand the mechanism and the fact that it's a doll, so let's go and wind it up. I mean, what else is there to do? Come to think of it, it's not really that much of a case at this point, because the case was, oh, Penelope found a corpse. We've established that it's not a corpse, but this is the cutscene I was thinking of. I didn't know that this was a cutscene, but Chloe's trying to find a tag or a label or something, and she's undressing him. Jesus Christ, Chloe, you are a pervert. Like, why are you so casual about this? It's a human-sized doll. What is your deal, girl? Oh my. That just reminds me of that one game that Lucajin did that one time, and I think Markiplier did it as well, as someone else did, but that game where the end splash screen says something to the effect of, you might have done sex blank number of times. And that's essentially Chloe's childhood, or so it seems. So, there's a hole in the back, just as we have established, so we're going to wind it up. Stick the key in there, twist it the wrong way, then the right... That reminds me, my bedroom door here at university, that's got a similar mechanism to it. Like, the way you'd unlock it is not the way you're supposed to... Like, it's not how you'd expect it to open. But anyway, Chloe wants to be the one to wind it up and advance the case, but then so does Penelope with her butt hair. Like, who invited you? It looks like a cauliflower from this angle, like an orange cauliflower, or a fart cloud. So, that just adds to the analogy of Penelope having butt hair. And, oh, the cat thought that the thing was a fish and stole it. Well, that makes sense, because it is a fish-shaped thing, and... So Penelope's instantly lost interest, and Chloe's trying to go and get the thing back, but... I mean, come on, Mackenzie's a player character, so of course we're going to be the ones who end up retrieving the thing in the end. So... what you're doing? You appear to have given up, you're just staring at a door, and windows that flash, and... in the last episode, those windows, whenever they flashed, they'd move down slightly and back up again, but in this episode they seem to be staying in place. Curious. Anyway, it's not really a black cat, it's more of a dark blue. Sort of like a priest's socks. And if you get that reference, then have an imaginary cookie, you've earned it. So she's trying to stake out the mansion, like, who's to say that the cat's even going to come back out? And if it does, then, well, if he does rather, then who's to say he'll come back out this way? You crazy fool. So, Little Miss Eiffel McNumber, what do you have to say about this situation? So his name's Spooky, and he's me. Now, that's a funny thing. Several times in my life, first of all, let's bribe it with chocolate, because that's totally a healthy thing to give to cats. Don't give cats chocolate, it's probably going to end badly for them. But, that's the thing. On several occasions in my life, I've encountered cats that are purportedly really unkind and cruel and mean and crotchety and whatever, and they've taken to be really well. Like, I remember one, I don't remember what his name was, but, Felix I think it was, this big old grey cat who was really mean and horrible to pretty much everyone. Like, he'd just hiss and claw at them, but, like, he liked me perfectly fine. And that's not the only time that's happened in my life, which is curious. Anyway, we've retrieved the key. Chloe's not pestering us because we lied about whether or not we had the key, so we'll wind it up and then see what happens. And we get an animated cutscene, and now we shall hear his voice for the first time. and it is beautiful. I will shut up and let you listen. Well, that was anticlimactic. Well, I have been able to be Tesslating Hexagons. We'll see you in the next episode, where hopefully we'll actually get to hear him sing this time. See you then.